Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon in Europe.
Buenas tardes.
Let's give a couple of minutes just for people to arrive to the meeting room. Let me start sharing my screen here. Excellent. Thank you for coming. Welcome to another ICC Academy webinar. Our topic today is the ICC competencies and how to be a confident professional coach. And for those of you that have been in some of my presentations, I like to start with a brief meditation to get our brain in a better wavelength and in a better space for learning and what we are going to cover. So I have a slide with very easy instructions to follow. Just get comfortable in your position, in your seat, with your feet, soles touching the floor, no crossed legs, hands on your legs, straight back, the head is slightly tilted to the front. Your eyes could be closed or you can soft your gaze. And then just pay attention to your breathing. Just pay attention to inhaling and exhaling. Relax in your chair, be aware of your body resting and the feeling of being supported by that chair. I'm going to start a timer of 2 minutes, and we are just going to do this for a couple of minutes to, as I said, put our brains in a better wavelength. Let's have a 2-minute meditation. Thank you. Thank you for joining me in these 2 minutes of meditation. I like to always start that way, and it's actually a recommendation for when you start any meeting, even a coaching session, to have just a couple of minutes of watching our breathing. It's going to make a difference in the conversation. It's going to make a difference in our attention and in some of the important competencies that we are going to cover today. Let's start with a little bit of ice breaking here to see who do we have today in the meeting room. Please use the chat. We are going to do this very, very interactive. And I want you to write in the chat, where are you from? Where are you connecting from? And also, how active are you in your coaching? And by active, you can maybe answer this question telling us what is the number of average sessions that you are doing per month. If you want to listen to this presentation in Spanish, please, you have to go to the menu where it says interpretation, and in interpretation you need to pick the Spanish channel. Si quieren escuchar la interpretación en español de este webinar, por favor, tiene que darle clic en el menú a interpretación y escoger el canal de español para que escuchen el audio en español. Gracias. Okay, thank you. We are getting some answers here connecting from New Zealand. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's super. It's super late in New Zealand. Or I believe that when we meet with people in New Zealand, their 10 a.m. is our 5 p.m. So it's super late. Thank you for being here. Portugal, less than one. Poland, 10 per month. Ilona from Mexico, just beginning as coach. From Brazil, Alfio from Brazil. Thank you, Alfio. How many sessions are you doing per month, Alfio? Urgita from Lithuania, using it at work. Okay. Mexico, about 10 per month. From Colombia, Miguel, about 12 per month. Tell us more about informal. What do you mean by informal? 12 per month. Madrid, not coaching yet. From Atlanta, Georgia, learning about coaching business. Oh, 6 a.m. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Germany, Miguel in Germany, how many sessions per month? Maria from Buenos Aires, Costa Rica, coaching for 20 years, I guess, but an average of how many sessions, Gilbert? Just to get a sense. Well, again, I'm very happy that this is a very, very international webinar. We have people from Europe, New Zealand, South America, France, Germany. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you for making this effort and investing your time here to become a confident professional coach and to make a review of, I call this webinar like back to basics, because the international coaching community that I assume most of you attended that program defined 8 competences for professional coaching. And that's what we teach in our international coaching certification. And my goal with the webinar today was to review those 8 competencies as a refresh for you to be clear, what are those 8 things that you should be doing in a very good way to be an efficient and confident professional coach with your clients. Miguel, thank you, is doing about 15, 20 sessions per month. Peru, Jorge, perfect. Mexico, Patricia, personal and business coaching. Excellent. Thank you so much for your answers. Well, I decided to start this webinar as a coach with an important skill in coaching, which I tell our new coaches, my students, that I call it clarifying meanings. When a person tells us something, the first thing that we need to ask before thinking of any other important or powerful question is, what do you mean by that? Because we all have our definitions. So we call this webinar ICC Competencies, and then we use a subtitle that was How to Be a Confident Professional Coach. So let's start by asking, okay, what do you mean by a confident professional coach? Let's start with some definitions. So write in the chat, what is confident for you? When we think on this concept or on this context of coaching, on being a confident professional coach, what is your definition of confident? What will make you a confident coach? Please write in the chat some of your definitions. I will give you mine, but I want to make this very interactive so we can learn from each other and get some additional ideas. So what is confident? And I know we have very seasoned coaches here. Others are new, others are just getting certified. That's a great mix of people for learning. So thank you. Thank you for being here. So we have some definitions of what is confident. From Nicole, it says being calm, having great questions, sitting with information, being okay to not know where to, but to explore. Okay, excellent. So calm is confident. Being at ease with our vulnerabilities. Excellent. I like that one. Listen actively. transmit calm and know coaching tools and clearly understand when they can be applied. I agree, Miguel. It's about when the tools can be applied, when I should use the full tool or just a fraction of the tool, or where can I come up with my new tool and invent something and create a new thing that will help my client. And that comes from what you said, listen actively. Thank you. Another definition of confidence would be clear communication with the coaches and establishing rapport, being a good listener. Again, excellent. Good, good. Thank you so much for your definitions of confident. Well, to me, confident is what I call mastery. And the definition that I love on mastery is effortless execution. And I always, when I think about this definition of effortless execution, I think of those high performers at a very, very top levels. Think of a musician, think of a player in a symphonic orchestra, or think a player in a famous band, or think of athletes competing in the Olympics. When I think about very, very top performers in any field, is when I think about effortless execution. Because when we see those guys playing the instrument or doing the jump or doing the race or the sport, whatever they are doing, we think, wow, it looks so easy. This person is executing and performing in a way that looks so easy. But that comes, as we know, from hours and hours and hours of training and learning and practicing. And that is what creates effortless execution. So to me, how to be a confident professional coach, when I say, what do you mean by confident? I will answer my coach, well, by confident, I mean mastery, effortless execution, that I have a knowledge and the practice that makes me execute in a way that looks so easy, but is back behind with all those hours of learning and practicing that I have done with this profession. And that's the definition of confidence and mastery. So thank you. Thank you for your answers. Let's keep moving with this phrase of how to be a confident professional coach. So what is your definition of professional? What is professional? Again, help me in the chat. What do we mean by confident professional coach? What do you mean by professional? We covered already confident. Let's cover now professional and look at your definitions. So what is professional in coaching? Okay, we get some definitions here. Professional means organized, nice setting, prepared, following the roadmap. Okay. Professional is being accountable, responsible for your actions, responsible for how you work. Okay, what else do we have? What is professional? What is the meaning of professional in coaching? That you have studied many years and have got a diploma. Okay, that could be a definition. Actually, that's one of the definitions that I want to share with you is that the majority of the professional coaching associations in the world, if you think about the ICF in the United States, the ICC, which we are worldwide and Worldwide School of Coaching. If you think about the EMCC, the European Mentoring and Coaching Council, and other associations in Australia, in the UK, those associations that are for professional coaches, one thing that they have in common is that they request that to become part of the association, to be a professional in that field, you need at least 60 hours of dedicated training to coaching topics. That's why I tell always candidates that are thinking of becoming coaches, there are so many programs in the market now. There's so many people offering you to get certified as a coach. But if they are not giving you at least 60 hours of professional training in coaching topics, that means that you are not getting really to the professional level. At least you won't be recognized by those international associations. So make sure that you have at least those 60 hours. And of course, that's a minimum because we need a lot of hours for practice, reading books, etc. And as I tell our new students, this field is something that you start, but you never end. The brain is so complex, the human being is so complex that we need to keep studying, we need to keep learning techniques, learning about the brain, learning about the human being, so we can help better our clients. So it's a never-ending work. But the professional, one of the definitions is that you have studied at least 60 hours. And for some programs that could be uh, 4 weekends or 6 weekends. For other programs could be years, depending on what is the format of the program, but you need to cover those hours. So what are other definitions of professional for you? Help me in the chat. Alfio said mastery on foundations about coaching. Yeah, professional is that you got the mastery on what you learn. You went to the coaching school, you learn the techniques, you learn the tools, and then you also practice them, and you become a master. You know how to use them, and you know how to use them in the right way. Another definition comes here in the chat: committed to own development, not standing still once mastery has been achieved. Agree, 100%, 100%. We can achieve mastery, but as we have seen with those musicians and those athletes, they never stop learning and training and trying things, because mastery can never be in a way fully achieved, or you achieve it, but you need to keep it and you need to continue learning and practicing. From Miguel, we have another definition of professional means ethics with yourself and with the coachee, be able to be a guide to our client coachee to the desired destination. That's also professional. Well, you know what? When I prepare sometimes webinars and I try to present concepts, I go to the dictionary. I go to Google and I ask for definitions. I ask for meanings of words and go the easy route. And I went for the definition of professional in the dictionary, and this is what I got: engage in a specified activity as one's main paid occupation rather than as a pastime. So if it's a pastime, maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's something that you like. But if you are a professional on something, that means that is your profession. You are actually making a life of it, or you are getting money for doing it. It's a paid occupation. You are engaged in a specified activity. So, in the context of how to be a confident professional coach, to me, confidence mastery, professional means that you are making money with it, that you are a professional making a living with this. And just to share with you, in case you are not aware, the International Coach Federation does a study of the market, coaching market, every 5 years that is hired to PricewaterhouseCoopers. And also another organization that is called Sherpa Coaching, they do an annual study of the coaching market. And I know many other market studies about how is the state of the coaching industry in terms of how many coaches a coach have, what are the main streams of coaching, if it's life coaching, executive coaching, business coaching. They analyze how many clients in average you have. They have a lot of information in those studies, but the one that I want to pull from there is from the latest one that I read on from Price Waterhouse, is that the average worldwide coaching hour price is 222 US dollars. That's the average hour coaching price. And the same study had a note that said for Latin America and the Caribbean is 50% of that. So the average coaching price in the market is $111. And I mention this because I think that being a professional means that when you get certified and you start working as a professional coach, you need to be in the market. I always tell my new students, if we are giving you the certificate, that means that you passed the exam. That means that you passed your observed practices. That means that we are certifying that you are a good coach. So you are able to charge money at least at the average price. Don't go below that, because if you go below that, people are going to think, well, maybe this person is not that good because this professional coach is charging me $200 and this person is offering me an hour for $50. Maybe he's not that good, or why is such a big difference in price, or why such a low price? So that's a common mistake. I know I was very, very fearful of charging the average price at the beginning. And many of our graduates, they think, well, I know I have the knowledge, I have the practices, I pass my exams, but maybe I am still lacking, as we said, the confidence. And if I'm lacking the confidence, then I'm not confident charging this money. But let me tell you, if you are certified, that means that you are a good coach. So get that confidence, not only to continue with your mastery, but get that confidence also to charge the right amount for your services. So that's the definition that I found about professional. Now let's move to the last part of this subtitle in our webinar: how to be a confident professional coach. So what is your definition of coach? What is a coach? We talk about confident being a master, having mastery in something. Professional means that you are dedicating is your profession, you are dedicated to that, and you are having a paid service by offering that service to people. And then what is coach? What is coach? And of course, I know that all of you learned this in your certification program, but let's see your definitions. One interesting thing of coaching is that even when we all go to the same maybe a book or a school, we have our own definitions. We create our own definitions. So what is your definition of coach in this context of how to be a confident professional coach? Help me in the chat with some definitions. Okay, I have the first one here from Anna. It says, coach is a bridge on which we can cross from dream to reality. Nice, I love that. That's a really nice quote. Maria, a coach is someone that helps you to achieve your goals by enforcing your ability to reflect. Very nice. So reflection, consciousness that helps to achieve goals. Okay, thank you. Nice definition. What other definitions do you have about a coach? What is coach? Hell, thank you. A person of confidence that helps the one that seeks answers finding the answers. Thank you. It's like that facilitator that helps people with the powerful questions to find their own answers. Very nice. Miguel says coaching is a useful way of developing people's skill and abilities and of boosting performance. Yes, for sure. Coaching is very widely used in people development, leadership development as a way to boost that performance and elevate skills and abilities. Fully agree with that definition. A support force that helps gain self-awareness. Again, the concept of consciousness and awareness is very important. A partner in the process of change. I like this one. Actually, we have a fellow colleague here in the US that has a definition very related to this that says a coach is a thinking partner. It's a nice idea, a partner in the process of change. Patricia says, a person you can count on to achieve your goals and develop abilities. Yes, it's someone that is going to support you in that process. Very good. Well, again, I went to the dictionary. I went to the definition of coach. And what I got when I went to the definition of coach is a horse-drawn carriage, especially a close one. And it's interesting because when we think about the word coach, and especially if we are not trained in coaching, we think about the sports coaches that are guiding people. But that's actually a bad definition for the kind of coaching that we do, because in sports, the coaches are giving instructions, are giving direction, are telling athletes what to do, how to do it. Maybe they can even dictate the strategy in a game. So they are very directive. And in coaching, we are not directive. So when we go to the origins of the word coaching, and that's why the dictionary says a horse-drawn carriage, especially a close one. When I took my international coaching certification, I learned that the word comes from a very ancient word that is kochi. And I don't know if this is a legend or it's really true. I haven't really checked it, but they said that in Eastern Europe, there was an old town that was called Kochi and was famous because they were building beautiful carriages, horse-drawn carriages. And I think this is a very good definition of coach because when we think about what we do with clients, what we are helping clients in in a journey from where they are to where they want to be. And it's not a physical journey, it's a mental journey. It's a journey about consciousness and awareness, but it's about moving from a present state to a desired state. So the definition that I am using is the one that coach is a professional trained individual that helps people with a conversation methodology to help them go, and in parentheses, I mentioned travel because of those carriages, to help them go from their present state to their desired state and to achieve the goals that will give them a better version of themselves. Maybe you have heard that another definition of coaching is about helping people get a better version of themselves. So that's the one I came up with when I link what we do as trained individuals with a person are helping them in this journey from where they are to where they want to be. And that's why those horse-drawn carriages were the origin of the word coaching, because they were moving people from a place to another place, from a starting point to a destination. And that's what we are doing with coaching. We have another definition here in the chat from Joel. Coaching is an equal and collaborative partnership with the goal of inspiring and developing an individual or group through the process of alliance building, exploration, feedback, planning, implementation, and evaluation, and which has the most likely side effects of strengthening self-esteem and the fulfillment of goals and dreams. Very, very complete, very nice. All the steps of the process. Thank you. Thank you, Joel. So this is my definition then. It's about moving a person from where they are to where they want to be. Now, one of the things that I learned in coaching, and as we know, the International Coaching Certification by the ICC is a combined methodology. What Joseph O'Connor and Andrea Lages did 24 years ago is that they combined the best of different coaching methodologies. As you know, they took a little bit of neurolinguistics programming, NLP. They took a little bit of ontological coaching. They took from something else called the inner game, another little bit from coaching for performance, and from all these different ways, positive psychology and many others, from all these different ways to help a person to achieve goals and to move from a present state to a desired state. They created this very, very good integrated methodology. But the one thing that I believe all these methodologies have in common, they call it different names, but I think all of them work with 3 or 4 steps. Even when they call them different names, I like to simplify coaching methodologies by saying all coaches, regardless of what methodology are you using, you are helping your client to go to 3 stages: goal, plan, and execution. You want to help your client to be very clear about what they really want. That's why we use the technique of clarifying meanings. What do you mean by more organized? What do you mean by managing your time? What do you mean by a better leader? What do you mean by top salesperson? We need to start by definitions because we help clients first to really, really clarify their goal. And I use this triangle, we call it in Impact Coaching Solutions, the coaching triangle, to explain the process that we take clients from the top of the triangle, where we are asking them, what do you really want? What do you truly want? And after some techniques and sessions and powerful questions, we can help a person to be more clear, more aware, more conscious about what they really want. Then we start moving in this arrow, going to the left of the triangle. And here, midway, we move to another important topic in coaching, which is the value behind the goal. Because we know that as humans, we pursue many, many things. Many of them are material things. It could be a new job, it could be a new car, it could be a new house, it could be a vacation, many, many things that are material. But at the end of the day, those things are not the final destination. Once we get them, we get something more important. And in coaching, we call that the value behind the goal. And we have techniques to find the value behind the goal, because it's not about the vacation, it's about my kids' happiness. It's not about the car, it's about my safety. It's not about the house, it's about maybe fulfillment. It's not about the job, it's about recognition. So we are finding always an intangible, very important thing that is hidden behind that goal. And we need to find what is that, because that is giving the energy to the coachee, to the client, to move forward with that. And also, very, very important, more than the energy, is that by knowing the value, now I know what I need to honor. Regardless of achieving that goal or no, I know that it's about safety. I know that it's about fulfillment. I know that it's about happiness, about confidence. And I want to honor that value through the journey. We don't want our clients to wait for the end, to wait for the end result to find that value, to find the happiness or the fulfillment or the recognition. What can you do throughout the journey to fulfill that value? And that is what we explore here when we are midway in this arrow going down. Then we reach this other corner of the triangle. And in this other corner of the triangle, we are going to work on, okay, what is the plan? What haven't you thought about? What are some ideas? What are some actions, steps, changes in your language, changes in your behavior? What else have you thought about? What other resources you could use? So we have a bunch of techniques also and powerful questions to help people go through the second stage, which is define a good plan. Now that you know exactly what you want, now define a good plan. Not even define a good plan, define a backup plan. What if anything fails on that basic plan? What is your other option? What else could you try? And that's why the coaching has been so successful. That is why it's one of the top growing industries today, because when people are finding their own solutions, they get the commitment and the conviction to do things. And if that doesn't work, they cannot blame the advisor, they cannot blame the consultant, they cannot blame the coach because the coach didn't give them the advice. They came up with their own solution, they came up with their own idea. So they need to make it work or find another one that works. And that's what makes coaching so successful. We get results. Our clients get results. I remember when I got certified, my teacher used to say, no goals, no coaching, but no action and results, no coaching. And basically, what she was telling us is you need to deliver for your client the three corners of this triangle: goals for coaching, and actions with the plan, and results with the execution. No goals, no coaching, no actions and results, no coaching. So once you have a client that is more clear about what they want and how they are going to do it, then we move to the second arrow in the base of the triangle, and we move from plan to execution. And when we move from plan to execution, that's where we are going to find a lot of things that we can work with clients. We call them the interferences, and I am going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But that's what is going to take them to results, that they execute that plan, that we hold them accountable. Accountability is another thing that as coaches we bring to the table. We hold our clients accountable. We help them create tasks and homework in every session. And then we review those results. And we help them work with that so they achieve the results, they get the results. So I wanted to give you this view of the coaching process and how we explain it, because that is the way we teach the international coaching certification, at least in Impact Coaching Solutions, is that we go through these three steps, teaching the tools and the techniques and the powerful questions and everything that is needed to take the client to these three stages. Now, for that, you need to learn the 8 competencies of the international coaching community. The international coaching community define 8 things that as a professional coach, if you want to be, as we said in the subtitle, a confident professional coach, you need to master these 8 competencies. The first one is establishing rapport and trust. The second one is the center tool of coaching, powerful questions. The third one is intuition and listening. The fourth one is goals and values clarification, which is what we do at the top of that triangle. The fifth one is giving and receiving feedback. The sixth one, many of you mentioned it in your definitions: creating consciousness, creating awareness. Then the seventh is effective tasks and homework management. And the last one is leading with those interferences at the base of the triangle, changing limiting beliefs by empowering beliefs. So these are the 8 competencies. I always tell students in our programs that we don't teach this in this order. We teach the stages, the 3 stages, and within the 3 stages, we keep like including the techniques and the tools and the questions that are needed, and we are explaining each of these competencies as we go through the stages. So let's go to again, going back to basics. I need to confess, what I did to prepare this webinar was very simple. I went to the glossary that we have at the end of the manual, the ICC certification manual. You have a glossary with some definitions of words. And I went to that glossary to find the definitions for the words used in the ICC competencies. So first, when we talk about establishing rapport and trust, I found that in the manual, we have rapport as a relationship of trust in and responsiveness to self or others. So it's that relationship with someone that works really well in a safe space, in a good environment, that creates trust, creates confidence, and that is creating that responsiveness that we need in both directions. And trust is the feeling that you can rely on a person to fulfill their commitments. And there are 2 elements of trust: consistency and competence. So if my coach is consistent and my coach is competent, then I can trust my coach. And if I am trusting my coach, I can have that feeling that I can rely on this person to fulfill my commitments. So these definitions are really, really important. Now, for this first competence, tell me in the chat if this is, let's, in each of these 8 competence, review in the chat very, very quick. Tell me, just put me a 1 if you feel really good with this competence, or put a 2 if you need to improve with this competence. So we make it easy, your participation in the chat. Just give me a 1 if you feel very confident on this first competence of establishing rapport and trust, and a 2 if it's something where you need to learn more techniques or you want to work more on how to establish the rapport and trust with your client. Let's see. I start getting some answers here. A 1, a 2, excellent. Another 1, another 1. Good, good. Many ones. Excellent, excellent. So as you know, we have many techniques in the program about this. It's about understanding the learning style of my client. It's about using a lot of paraphrasing, retrophrasing, articulation. It's about the physical space, how I organize my physical space with my client, the body language, and how I can mirror the body language, how I can have techniques to mirroring the voice. All these techniques were in your international coaching certification program. And those are the ones that we use to be masters and to be competent when we are establishing rapport and trust with our client. I don't know about you, but this is a key ingredient. If we don't establish that rapport, if that chemistry client coach is not working, the process is not going to be successful. The process is not going to feel right. I know that in a few occasions I have had a client where I don't feel right because the chemistry is not there, because the rapport and trust is not consolidating in the right way. So something is missing. So give me a yes if that has happened to you with some clients. And sometimes that you, even when you do your best techniques on rapport and trust, you feel that, this is not really working with this person the way I want in terms of rapport and trust. And so that is the first competence. Let's move to the second one. The second one is the tool that we use in coaching, and that's powerful questions. And when we go in our manual to the glossary and check questions, it says question is a request for a response from a client, an opportunity for the client to find a response that furthers their goals and vision. And as we know in coaching, we are working to help the client find their own answers. We are not giving them the answers. So a powerful question is a question that is going to create reflection. As a coach, one of the things that I learned, and I teach my future coaches, our new students, is that if you want to realize if you are doing your work well, you have signs from your client. When you do a powerful question, that's the question that your client cannot answer fast. If you are asking questions where your client answers really fast, that means that you are asking something that they already know. They are telling you something that they have told other people. They know the answer to that question. That's not a powerful question. But that question, when you hit your client with something, and you can see the body language is very obvious. The signals are very obvious. People, when they are hit with a powerful question, usually they lean a little bit back. The eyes go to the ceiling looking for an answer, and they say, wow, good question. Or I haven't thought about that. That's a powerful question. When you are creating those reflection moments, is when you are really hitting your client with a powerful question that is forcing your client to have reflection and to look for new information that they didn't have before. Before your question, they didn't have that information. If they would answer your question very easily. So we cannot be perfect with this. I know that when I'm coaching, I'm doing a lot of questions. I'm getting answers, sometimes very easy, sometimes, and I am not a good one, not a good one, not a good one. And then I have one when I hit the home run where people are like, oh, and I didn't thought about that. And I say, oh yes, finally, good one. And so it's finding those punches, it's finding those powerful questions that are going to create a reflection in the client. That's my work as a coach, because that's when I am helping my client really find new information, new options, new ideas that they haven't tried, new perspectives, new ways of looking at things, new consciousness, new awareness. So super, super important. And of course, as you know, in the certification, there are a bunch of questions that we learn, a bunch of techniques and rules about questions. We learn to not use closed questions. We learn not to use the question why because it's aggressive to the brain. We learn to use and pick our language in a very, very good way. We learn to do short questions, not long questions. And we need to be very concise and succinct with our questions. One of the most common mistakes of new coaches that I have seen is that we are not confident with our questions. So we make the question, and then our brain goes, maybe your client didn't understand you because he's not answering fast. So instead of waiting, because that was actually a powerful question, without ourselves, and we ask in a different way the same question. Sometimes we ask the same thing two or three different ways. Be confident. Again, let's go back to the confident concept. You are a master. Be confident. When you ask the question, if your client is silent, it's not that they didn't understand the question. It's that you punch them with a good, powerful question, and they are, wow, I don't have that answer. Let me think. And that's when you are doing your job. So that is powerful questions. That's the second competence. The third competence is intuition and listening. And intuition is in the glossary in our manual is the inner knowledge that becomes available without conscious thought or rational. So I call intuition that invisible information that we get. And for those of you that are afraid with artificial intelligence, well, first you should. Artificial intelligence is going to is having a huge impact in the world and in the way we work with many, many things, as profound and as powerful as we had when internet was invented. So artificial intelligence is very, very powerful, is coming, is here, is creating big changes. If you are afraid of AI, you should be afraid. And the way to not be afraid of it is learn about AI. But the other point with AI is that the other day we had a candidate for the program, and the candidate was about getting registered, and she said, "I just have a question for you because I had a chat with my dad, and my dad said, 'Honey, be careful because it's not that one of the professions that will be replaced with artificial intelligence because people can get those questions and can get the powerful questions and the ideas from AI.'" And I think the answer to that question is yes, a lot of things. Actually, there are some coaching that is already happening in AI. But one thing that is not going to be able to do, at least yet, AI, maybe in the future, is to listen what is not said. AI and the computer cannot listen to what is not said. And that is intuition and listening in the competence as coach. That you are listening not only to the words of your client, you are listening to what is not said. You are reading body language expressions. You are reading facial expressions. You are sensing the energy. And all that is information. All that is invisible information that you get in the form of intuition. It's not something that you came from logic or rational or deductions. It's just something that you get it. Hey, client, I don't know. I have this hunch. I got this idea. Can I chat it? Can I check it with you? Or you know what? I just got this crazy thing about what you're saying. Can I review this with you? And those things are not mentioned by the client. You are getting that invisible information, and that's intuition. Of course, intuition is a mix of things, but one of the most important tools that we learn in the certification for intuition is to be very good listeners as coaches. And listening is about always working in the third and possibly the fourth level of listening. So not only hearing the sound waves, not only questioning what is in it for me or what is this meaning for me, but being more in a connection with the client where we are trying to avoid judgment, trying to avoid our internal dialogue, and really having a deep listening with minimum judgment, having what is mindfulness. And the easiest definition I found about mindfulness was presence and acceptance. And to me, that's beautiful because that's what we do in coaching. Presence and acceptance. Presence means I am listening with all my senses here, not only with my ears, I'm listening with my eyes, I'm listening with my heart, I'm listening with all of me to this client, and I am not judging. It's acceptance, presence and acceptance. That's mindfulness. As a coach, you need to learn mindfulness. You need to learn to meditate and to train your brain to avoid traveling to the past and to the future and to your files with your experience, your files with your knowledge, and have your brain in a more focused way, just listening to the person. Don't worry about the next question. The next question will come from the information that you're getting from your client. So just listening to the person with all your intuition, with all your senses, that's mindfulness, presence, and acceptance. So that's the third competence that is very, very important for a professional coach. The fourth one, before we move to that, I have a comment here in the chat. Joel says, I think as a coach, you have to be brave enough to ask provocative questions to really challenge the coachee, but also that demands you have a strong alliance between you. Yeah, 100%. I agree. Provocative questions is exactly that, creating that reflection, creating that new perspective, that new point of view. So let's move to our fourth competence. The fourth competence is the one about goals and values clarification. And that's the top of our triangle. Those are the techniques to clarify goals and values. And when you go to the glossary in our manual, it says goals are desired results, dreams with legs. I use another quote that I like better than this one, maybe because I want to go farther, but I say goals are dreams with wings. It's not that you are going to move them walking or running, you are going to fly with them to another destination. And values are the things, as we know in coaching, values is not moral values, universal values. No, it's not that. Values is what is important for my client, the things that are important for my client. The values change from person to person and are things that are important for that person as a result of achieving a goal or the reason behind trying to go after a goal. So goals and values clarification, we have a bunch of techniques and tools, as you know, as a professional coach to work with clients on helping them define values, define goals. Start always by the basic one that I use at the beginning of this webinar, clarifying meanings. Hey, client, what do you mean by that? And start by finding what is the definition, because the client, when it's giving you the definition, is finding new information. And it's clarifying not for you. Another important thing to remember as a professional coach, you are not asking for you. You are asking for your client. It's not important that you know that information. It's important that your client gets new information. So ask the clarifying meanings as a basic technique to start your sessions, because that's super important. The next competence is the one on giving and receiving feedback. And when we go to the glossary in the manual, it says feedback. In the coaching situation, feedback is the response of the coach to what the client tells them and the client's reaction to what the coach says. Feedback may be reinforcing where it leads to more of the same behavior or balancing where it leads to less of the behavior, ultimately resulting in a change of behavior. So feedback is very important to remember as coaches. It's a two-way avenue. Feedback is not what I tell the client, which is what we call mirroring. Hey client, I'm noticing that your energy is going down. Hey client, I noticed that you got excited with this. Hey client, from here I'm noticing that there is a contradiction. It's not only telling them what we see, but it's also reacting to what they are telling us in a way that is important for them. And that imply emotion, that imply maybe excitement, maybe seriousness, but it's a two-way avenue that we need to remember that needs to be happening to have. That's why the competence is called giving and receiving feedback. It's both things. What I'm doing the mirroring for my client, giving the feedback, but also receiving the feedback from my client, from my questions, from the different ideas that we are bouncing, etc. So another important one. Then we have the one that is creating consciousness. And it's funny, creating consciousness doesn't have a definition in the glossary, in the manual. But when I went to consciousness definition, I found this definition is the quality or a state of being aware, especially of something within oneself. And I believe that most of what we do, if not all of what we do in coaching with tools and techniques, is creating consciousness, is creating awareness, is making the people more aware of what is going on. That's why I always recommend people to practice meditation, and I always recommend professional coaches practice meditation, because that's a training to your brain to be more aware of what is going on. Not in the past, not in the future, right now. What is happening with me right now? What is happening with this person right now? And also to be more more observant about what are my ideas about this? What are my feelings about this? What are my reactions about this? What are the behaviors that I am having about this? Because the client is going to find the answers within themselves. That's why this quality of a state of being aware, especially of something within oneself, is, to me, even when it's not mentioned in the glossary, even when we don't have specific tools to create consciousness, I believe everything we do in coaching is around this competence. A coach needs to create awareness, need to create consciousness. If you are not creating this with your client, then you are not giving a professional service. Then the next one is effective tasks homework management. And we can find in the glossary the definition of homework as tasks, challenges, or requests for the client to carry out and report the results back to the coach at a mutually agreed time. And as you know, in the certification, we have several techniques that help us to help the client define tasks or homework. We don't give them the homework. We help them define their own homework. And once they define their own homework, we have other techniques to, when they come back in the next session, review that homework. And the most important learning that I had as a coach is that the benefit of the homework, the benefit of the tasks is in the learning. So the most relevant thing is not if they were successful or not, if they forgot or not, if they got the result they wanted or not. The most relevant thing when we are managing tasks and managing homework is, what did you learn from that? What did you learn from forgetting not to do it? What did you learn from doing it and not having success? What did you learn from doing it and having this success that you are telling me? So the most important thing is to review what was the learning experience of the client when they were doing those homeworks or they were doing those tasks. So another important skill that has a bunch of techniques to help the client define them and to help the client review them. And then the last one is, of course, a big one and one of the most important. The last competence is changing limiting beliefs by empowering beliefs. And when we go to the glossary, it says beliefs are the generalizations we make about others, the world, and ourselves that become our operating principles. We act as if they are true and they are true for us. So as we know, beliefs is this collection that we have. And in our collection, we have a lot of beliefs that are going to be very useful for us. We call them empowering beliefs. And we have a collection of other beliefs that are not useful at all for us, which are limiting beliefs. And what we do as coaches, is to help our clients when we are at the base of this triangle from plan to execution. My client already has clarity on their goal, they have clarity on their plan, and now they need to execute. And from plan to execution, we are going to have here what we call the interferences. Those are the obstacles my client is finding along the way when they are trying to move to that result, when they are trying to execute that plan. And those interferences could be the limiting beliefs, they could be the bad habits, or they could be the limited perspectives. So the interferences are those obstacles that my client is going to find in that base of the triangle moving from plan to execution. And as a coach, my work and my competence of changing limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs is about helping my client detecting those obstacles, identifying those obstacles that could be beliefs, but also could be bad habits, also could be limited perspectives, and then help them to switch from a limiting belief to an empowering belief. Help them to switch from a bad habit to a good habit. Help them to switch from a limited perspective to an expanded perspective. And that's how I am going to help my client overcome those obstacles that are along the base of that triangle so they reach their destination, so they reach their execution of the plan and the result that they were looking for. So those are the interferences. Now, maybe you heard about this model that we also teach in the program from the inner game of Tim Galway that says potential minus interference is performance. So we all have a 100% performance that is a top-notch, super good performance. And we all have the potential to have that performance. But interference is what is reducing our performance. We have the potential, but then we have the limiting beliefs, the bad habits, the limited perspectives, and all those interferences are reducing our performance. But as we said, moving a client in coaching from the present state to the desired state is making them conscious and aware of what resources, ideas, behaviors, language can use to overcome those interferences so they can get to their top potential and they can get to their top performance. So that's the way we can work on the 8 competencies. Please tell me in the chat, what are your reaction to reviewing the 8 competencies? What are the things mentioned in the chat? Maybe what is the one that you need to work more on? the one that needs more attention from you, the one that was a good refresher, a good thing that, oh, I forgot about that one, or I forgot about that idea. Tell me what was most useful in the chat about reviewing these 8 competences. The last one, number 8, on changing limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs. Okay, thank you, Miguel. Yeah, that one actually is mentioned as beliefs, but I know that it encompasses other obstacles like habits and limited perspectives. Patricia, also number 8 is the one that is really important. The 7, more concrete suggestions on homework and task management. Yeah, there's a lot of techniques there for helping the client define. I guess the most important suggestion that I can give on that one is be very specific when defining tasks with your client. Not only what are you going to do, but when, how, at what time, what day, with who, in what format. Get as specific as you can in the task, so because that creates more commitment from your client to achieve that task. What else? Any others that were important for you? Please tell me in the chat. Now, I know that most of you are certified professional coaches with the international coaching community. Some of you are recently certified. And I have 2 special offers that I want to do today to help you on this idea of how to be a confident professional coach. And the first one is something that we call the refresher. Um, I am the trainer in the US, in charge of the US, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, and Mexico. And we have 3 of the 47 trainers of the international coaching community in our staff. But one of the things that we offer to certified coaches, even if you were trained with a different trainer or in another country, is the certification refresher. And the refresher means that you can take the whole certification program for a fraction of the investment. So if you got certified 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 8 years ago, and you are like, I want to review my tools, I want to review all the techniques, I want to review the concepts, you can register in the refresher. Now, the refresher, normally we have it at a 30% investment. So the program that we sell in the US is $5,950. For the refresher, normally we just charge 30%, which is 1,785. But for this webinar, I decided to make a special promotion. And just because we are starting classes of the new class of coaches is starting tomorrow, actually, and we only receive people for the first 2 weeks. So registration is open only to March 15. And all the way to March 15, you can still register to this program, starting to do your refresher of tools and concepts. And I decided to make a special price only for 5 seats that we have in that class at $525. So if you want to review all your tools, all your concepts, have new practices, learn from other participants, you can register, and we only have 5 seats at $525. Classes are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. UK time. And the program, the format that we deliver the program is 15 weeks of classes live in Zoom, because we have a lot of practice within class. And that complies with the 60 hours of training on dedicated topics of coaching. And also you need to calculate that you are attending class 4 hours per week, but you need another 4 hours per week off-site, off class, because we do a lot of reading. We read 4 books. We have 5 study groups. We have a lot of practices to make you a confident professional coach. So if you want to do your refresher, this is the calendar for our new program starting tomorrow. We go from March 4 to June 26. If you are in Mexico or Latin America, the class is 10 a.m. to 12, 10 to 12, 10 to 12 Mexico. I believe for Brazil would be 1 to 3 in the afternoon. If you are in Europe, is in that schedule that I told you, 4 to 6. And we go through these 4 months reviewing everything. Then and also just to address some questions. Sometimes they ask us, well, remind me if the ICC certification is about life coaching or business coaching or executive coaching. The reason we call it international, as some or many of you know, is because we combine several methodologies of coaching, but also because we combine techniques that are going to help you as a life coach, as an executive coach, as a business coach. So our graduates were in different niches of markets of coaching. Some of them do life coaching, business coaching. Even we have had people doing spiritual coaching because there are theology professors or pastors in churches here in the US. So you are going to learn all the techniques to be a professional coach. If you want to register to this program, as I said, we only have 5 seats. You can go to this link or you can go to this QR code that will take you to a checkout form to pay with a debit or credit card. As I said, it's a very, very special price at 525 that will help you to review all the If you are not certified as a coach, you cannot have this promotion. This promotion is only for ICC certified coaches. That's why we call it a refresher. But if you want to do the full professional program, contact me and we can review your goal of becoming a professional coach. I'm gonna also put in the chat my WhatsApp number so you can write me directly in WhatsApp if you have questions about the refresher or questions about the program. Another idea that I had to help you to become a confident professional coach was to create a program with one of the features that many many participants in our program have told us that they love that part of the program because that's where they learn a lot, and that is called the observed practices. Those are some classes that we have dedicated for people to coach for 20 minutes, being observed by a professional trainer, and then at the end tell that person, what do you need to polish in your coaching? What do you need to polish in your session structure? What do you need to polish in how you handle the client or how you handle your expressions or how you handle your questions. So that's a very, very important part of our program. So I decided to also create something that helps you with that, how to become a confident professional coach with a program on observed practices. So if you are already a certified coach, I am going to run a program from April the 2nd to June the 4th. We are going to meet 10 times every Wednesday from 5 to 7 UK time. That's 11 to 1 Mexico time or Central Time in the US. And this program is limited to only 20 participants. What we are doing with this program is that every week we are going to meet and two persons are going to coach for 30 minutes. And we are going to observe how that person is coaching for 30 minutes. And we are going to provide feedback to that person on the things that they need to polish in their coaching, the needs that are going to make them work better with the client, have better responses, go better to the core problem, help the client find better solutions, etc. So this is, again, only limited to 20 participants because we are going to have 2 participants coaching per session, and we are doing only 10 sessions. And you are also going to learn a lot, at least that's the feedback that we have been getting, that we also learn a lot from seeing others, reviewing how they coach and seeing others coaching. And this is also a very, very low investment. It's going to be only $500 for the 10 sessions. You can come and watch others coaching, and you coach yourself for 30 minutes, and you get feedback on how you are doing it. So those were my 2 ideas on how to help you become a confident professional coach. If you want to join the Observe Practices program, you can use this QR code with your camera. It will take you to the link. Again, it's just a checkout form to pay the $500 for the 10 sessions, and you can participate from April to June to review how you're doing with your coaching. Well, thank you so much to everyone. We are almost working on time, just 5 minutes over. Thank you. You have my WhatsApp number there, my email there, and also a link if you need to meet with me for 30 minutes to review anything about the certification process or the refresher or how to become a better coach. And also, I'm going to give you a last slide to take a picture on our social media sites for the company and for me, so you can follow us. We are usually publishing a lot of ideas about coaching, neuroscience, emotional intelligence, leadership. So you have our links in LinkedIn, Twitter, or X, and Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and also my personal links in LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we'll be very happy to hear from you and keep learning together about the human being, about the brain, about how to serve better our coaching clients. Thank you so much for being here. The webinar is being recorded. For those that are seeing the recording later, this promotion of the refresher is just valid until March 15, 2025, because we are starting classes tomorrow. And the promotion for the Observe Practices program is valid only until the end of the month, because we are starting the program in April, and we are going to have our weekly sessions from April to June. Thank you so much. And wherever you are in the world, thank you for helping people with your coaching. Thank you for loving this profession and fulfill your life with service, helping people find a better version of themselves. Thank you so much. See you in the next webinar.